Alright guys, I'm back with my WWE Raw review for the 23rd of the 2nd, 2015. I was thinking of this last episode of Raw, and I was thinking to myself, should I review this last night's Raw? And I was saying to myself, I was thinking, should I review it? And I was watching the show and I was thinking, oh my god, how much of a bad show it is. I mean, Fastlane, I said something, going back to Fastlane wasn't a bad pay-per-view. I thought the pay-per-view was good, but then the pay-per-view was alright, but you get to Raw and it gets worse. You have Randy Orton come out and he cuts a promo. It's his same old boring promo. He hasn't really changed much in his mic skills at all since he's been away. He says basically that he's been out for 4 months and he's ready to take out Seth Rollins and bash his brains in it. Then the Authority come out because Orton calls out Rollins, and then Stephanie comes out. Well, we're not gonna. And then Stephanie says, we want you to come back to the Authority. And Randy says, do you think I really trust you guys after you turned on me a couple months ago? Then Stephanie said it's different this time. I want to put yours and Seth's differences aside. Why this 40 is still around. And then basically Stephanie says that she doesn't want the Authority to feel Randy Orton's wrath, like, you know, Randy Orton has attacked the McMahons for many years, and she doesn't want that to happen again, and she wants just the McMahons and Randy Orton to get on. And then he says that he'll consider it. Then we get to the first match tonight, which is Dolph versus BMB. R-Truth was on commentary, so it kind of looks like we're going to have a fatal four-way after this match, because Dean Ambrose came out and he had like he was like shouting at Ambrose, like bad news Barrett or something. So kind of looks like at WrestleMania we're going to have a fatal four-way between these 4 guys, between R-Truth, Ziggler, Ambrose and Barrett for the IC title. It was an alright match. Barrett loses. Dolph wins with the zigzag because Barrett was going to go for the Winds of Change. Then Dolph went for the zigzag, got the win. Then we get to a segment. It's the Authority. Then we get to a segment where the Authority are backstage, and Rollins and Orton shake. Kane and Rollins are still pissed off that Stephanie's even wanting Orton back on, you know, with the Authority again. And then Stephanie says, well, just let bygones be bygones, and I know it's going to be hard, but just get on. And then Rollins and Orton shake hands, and then she says that tonight's main event is going to be Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns versus Rollins and Orton. Then we get to the second match tonight, which was the Ascension versus PCP. PCP won by roll-up, and after the match the PCP get beat up, so it kind of looks like a kind of a match between these two at WrestleMania, I don't know. And then we get to a segment where basically Reigns comes out, talks about winning the Royal Rumble and retaining his spot at WrestleMania last night. And then Bryan comes out and says that I'm not the biggest Roman Reigns fan. This is what Bryan says in his promo. I'm not the biggest Roman Reigns fan, but basically we had a good match last night, and I've seen guys like you come before and had no character or no great wrestling skills, and you're still getting pushed, and I want you to, you know, improve, something like that. That's kind of what I got anyway. Then Heyman comes out and says that Heyman comes out and puts over Reigns, saying if he was facing a Stone Cold Steve Austin in 1998, I would always put my money on Roman Reigns, and he kept saying that. And then when he says, I won't put my money on you beating Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, then Reigns gets kind of pissed off, and then Heyman runs away. Then after that we get to the third match tonight, which was a tag team match. It was the Usos versus Tyson. It was a third match tonight, which was for the tag titles. It was Kid and Cesaro defending against the Usos. It was an alright match. It was kind of the same match we saw last night, so I didn't really care about it too much. Natalia tries to shove one of the Usos off the top rope, but the ref sees her, so Kid and Cesaro get disqualified, but they still retain the titles, and the Usos get the win. And then Bray Wyatt then Bray Wyatt cuts his promo on The Undertaker, and basically Bray's talking to this casket. Nobody's in this casket, he's just talking to it, and he's saying that Undertaker is a former shell of himself. At WrestleMania he went 21-1. He lost to Brock Lesnar last year at WrestleMania, and lost all his dignity and stuff, and all his pride, because he lost to all, he lost to his fans and stuff and let them down. And then he says a few other stuff like that. So basically, we'll probably have Taker maybe return on Raw next week. I don't know. Maybe the week after. Maybe next week, and say next week and have a confrontation. Then they'll probably confirm Taker versus Wyatt at WrestleMania. Hopefully in a Buried Alive match. I mean, that would be very great. And I would love to see Taker put over Bray Wyatt. That would really cement, Bray Wyatt as a main eventer. There's still a lot of rebuilding Bray Wyatt into the main event scene again, but him feuding with The Undertaker might bring him up to some relevancy in this feud, because I'm interested in what they're going to do with Bray Wyatt going into WrestleMania. Are they going to let him have a big win over The Undertaker at WrestleMania, or are they going to make him flop? Or I don't know what they're going to do with Bray Wyatt. I mean, is this going to benefit Bray Wyatt? I think yes. But are they going to stick with this Bray Wyatt push after WrestleMania? I mean, are you guys going to be interested in this Bray Wyatt push after WrestleMania? Because in my opinion, the WWE last time they pushed Bray Wyatt this hard, last time they pushed Bray Wyatt was last year, and then he faced John Cena and he got shoveled and stuff. So I don't know if that's going to happen again this year. I hope not. I hope Undertaker just put him over WrestleMania, hopefully in a Buried Alive match, or maybe something like a casket match, because I think it's probably going to be a casket match or a Buried Alive match, because those are the one of the two that I think they're going to go as, and I think one of them is going to be a casket match, which I think is going to be awesome. I think the last time we had a casket match at WrestleMania was it WrestleMania 14? I can't remember which one it was, but I remember they had one. I'm sure they had one at WrestleMania. They probably have, but I cannot remember. But yeah. It probably looks like we're going to have a casket match between Taker and Wyatt. Then we get to a Sting video package where it talks about his WCW run, him being a surfer Sting, and then him in the Attitude Era turning into Crow Sting and feuding with the NWO. That was awesome video package. Then we get the fifth match tonight, which was Emma versus. Oh wait a minute, did I miss a bit there? Oh yeah, I did. I missed a couple of segments here, I'm sorry about that. I was talking about this Bray Wyatt feud, and I'm going to talk about these matches here. So the fourth match tonight was basically Swagger versus Stardust. Swagger wins with a Patriot Lock after Goldust distracted Stardust, so still building up for this match at WrestleMania, which is good. Then we get to a segment where Cena comes out. He says that it was a true title match last night between him and Rusev, and then Rusev was the better man. Lana puts him down. They go back and forth on the mic, and also they talk about having an match. And then Cena says, "I want a match at WrestleMania." I can't remember what Rusev said, but like I said, I'll probably have to go back and watch it. But yeah, and then backstage, Orton tells Rollins that tonight they're going to put it's going to be a bit hard to forgive Rollins, but they're going to put the differences aside just for tonight, so they can beat the hell out of Orton, out of Bryan and Reigns. I'm tired. And then we got to the Sting video package like I talked about. Then the fifth match of the night, which was Emma and Paige versus the Bellas. It was a very short match. It only lasted like 2 seconds, and basically the Bellas won. I don't know how they won, but they won anyway. Then we get another video package for the Bushwhackers. Yes, the Bushwhackers are going into the Hall of Fame. I don't know how I feel about this, about the Bushwhackers going to the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's cool, I guess, but I've never been a fan of the Bushwhackers. They was kind of before my time. They was in the Hogan era, which is an era that I went back to watch, because as a child, I wasn't born in the 80s, so I don't remember much of the reign in the WWF/WWE, so I cannot talk about how great they were. But I know how great they were, but I mean, I cannot share any good memories of them, but because I don't have any good memories of the Bushwhackers, so they weren't around in the 80s. But I was hoping that the WWE is probably going to say, when they promoted somebody like Owen Hart, Like, why can we not have Owen Hart in the Hall of Fame? I did a video on that last month saying that Owen Hart should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, you can maybe arrange a meeting with Vince and Triple H and Bret Hart and Owen Hart's wife and the whole Hart family, and they can discuss how to put Owen in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's about time that Owen went in the Hall of Fame. Owen Hart is one of these guys that the WWF/WWE had as a really great talent. I mean, he had a great personality, great character, great mic work, great heel and great babyface. He was an overall great wrestler for the WWF, and a very tragic accident happened in 1999, and I know the WWF are sorry for that. They said that they're sorry for that tragic accident that day in 1999, May 23rd. But they've got to move on, basically. I mean, it's time to move on. It was 15 years ago. I know Owen Hart's wife had to grief and all that, but do something nice for Owen Hart. Put him in the Hall of Fame this year for 2015. Him and the Macho Man could be like the two headliners for the Hall of Fame this year. I mean, how cool would that be? Owen Hart and the Macho Man main eventing a Hall of Fame class. Awesome. But yeah, like I said, I do want to see Owen Hart one day in the Hall of Fame. This year, I would love him to be in the Hall of Fame, but this year, it's gonna happen probably this year or next year in the Hall of Fame, because like, I don't want them to like wait years and years. I mean, they've left it years now, but like, I want them to like induct him, you know, now, because I think that this would be like a cool time to induct him with the Macho Man. Like, it would be a cool time, because like, they'll be the two guys that will make the Hall of Fame. You know, make people like go to the Hall of Fame, because like those two are headlining the Hall of Fame this year and stuff. That's what I mean. I mean, I'm an Owen Hart fan, so like, I'm a bigger Owen Hart fan than Bret Hart, because if you're gonna induct Bret Hart, who was not a better wrestler than Owen Hart, and a lot of people say that Bret Hart is one of the greatest of all time. He is not. In my opinion, it's Owen Hart. In my opinion, the most Owen Hart was Owen Hart was the most underutilized wrestler in the WWF/WWE. I mean, I know he had that good feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he didn't really get that high up the card like he should have done. Like, the WWF title would have been awesome for Owen Hart. But yeah, that's just me talking about Owen Hart. I mean, I just got into a thing about Owen Hart going to the Hall of Fame and stuff, and I went on. Anyway, back to this review. So basically, the sixth match tonight was Ryback versus Axel. Axel cuts a promo, Ryback comes out, Ryback squashes Axel. Moving on. Seventh match tonight is your main event: Orton versus Rollins. Orton and Rollins versus Reigns and Bryan. So basically, this was an alright match. I didn't really feel interested into this match. JJ Security tried to interfere in the match. Reigns Superman punches them. Then Orton ties himself in because he gets pissed off with Rollins not tagging him in. So, well, Orton was already tagged in. Then Rollins ties himself in. Then Orton gets pissed off. Then Daniel Bryan ties himself in, hits Rollins with a high knee, gets the win after the match. Randy Orton attacks Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury again, and then he tries to punch Seth Rollins in the head, but basically you have Kane and you have, well, he tries to punch Seth Rollins, and then he goes like, wait a minute, I'm not going to do that yet. And then he goes like, he picks him up and shakes his hand and then walks away. And after that, the Authority are like confused, going, what the fuck just happened? So that was the end of Raw. A very boring episode of Raw, in my opinion. I thought Raw could have been a lot better this week. A lot of filler on the show. I think a lot of bad filler. Like, I didn't want to see Orton in the Authority again. I would have loved to see Randy Orton like RKO the Authority in like the beginning of the show to get the show off on a high note. Like, he could have RKO Stephanie, then Kane, then Big Show, then Triple H, then Rose, then you know what I mean. I mean, that would have got the show. That would have like made me. That would have got the show going off to a high note and building to the Seth Rollins and Randy Orton feud, which I know that they're going to do. in the next few weeks, and I'm excited for this feud between Seth Rollins and Randy Orton. I'm trying to get myself invested into this feud, but I don't know if I can though, because Randy Orton hasn't changed since he's returned as a babyface. I'm sorry, he's the same babyface that we had in 2010. Just a guy who's just a tweener, kills people when he wants, walks away. He's just the same old guy in my opinion, same old babyface. He hasn't changed much. He's still boring on the mic, and that's it. So that is my WWE Raw review, guys, for the 23rd of the 2nd, 2015. I thought Raw was boring this week. What do you guys think of the show? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And thanks for watching, guys. Right out.